Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Trevor Crow. The show is Trevor and Friends. It's brought to you by me, actually, trevorcrow.com. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I specialize in couples, individuals, and family therapy. The second part of the show today, and this hot day in May, bizarre, but it's kind of fun, is Jill Oberlander. So welcome, Jill Oberlander.
Thank you so much, Trevor.
A little background on Jill. Jill is running as the District 36 State Senate Democratic candidate. And she will be running against, well, we're not 100% sure yet.
No, I don't think the Republicans had their convention yet. We had ours last night, so I am now the endorsed Democratic candidate.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well done. Now, Jill has been involved in local politics for a very long time. She served 6 years on the RTM, 4 years on the BET. She was the chair, by the way. And if you didn't know this, there's actually a Jill K. Oberlander Day, November 18th, 2019.
I think actually there may even be two.
There's two. Oh my God, Jill.
Or actually, I don't know about that. I definitely got two recognitions for the BET and the Board of Selectmen.
That's pretty darn good. Board of Selectmen as well. How many years were you on that?
I was on for one term, 2 years.
2 years. Awesome. Okay. So you're running now for State Senate District 36, and tell everybody where District 36
District 36 includes. Is all of Greenwich. So if you live in Greenwich, it's your district. It's North Stamford and also a large part of New Canaan.
Good.
And I believe you're very familiar with the district.
I am a little familiar with this district. So why are you running for this particular seat?
Yeah. Well, I have a number of things I want to do and the things that I've been hearing. So that really is what lured me to run for this seat in particular. So first, we're all talking about, I keep hearing people's concerns about the cost of living, gas prices, the cost of food, their inability to buy a home or sell their home and stay in the neighborhoods where they've raised their families, healthcare, all of these issues. So number one, I'm running to address these issues so that our friends and neighbors throughout the state can have an easier time of it. Lower cost for basic expenses. I'm also concerned about our state's future, truthfully. So the willingness of businesses to locate here, their ability to grow, the opportunity for our residents, current and potentially future ones, to find rewarding jobs. So I'm really focused on those issues as well, because I think that'll benefit us and that'll benefit everyone in the state, truthfully. And lastly, I'm running because our values and our constitutional rights need to ensure that we continue to live in a state that we all want to live in. There's a lot going on, and our state legislatures are even more important than ever. So those are the things that I'm focused on, and that's what prompted me to run. I call them my ABCs, actually. A for affordability, B for business support and economic growth, and C for the Constitution and protecting our values. And so it was when the seat came up as a potential open seat, I thought I've always stepped forward when there was a need to serve our community, and that's what I'm doing now.
Absolutely love this. Okay, anybody who's just turning in right now, I'm talking to Jill Oberlander, now the official endorsed Democratic candidate for State Senate District 36. And she is talking about why she's running. So she's calling it her ABCs. I really like that. It's nice and clean. And it's affordability, supporting business, and of course the Constitution. So thank you, Jill, for doing it. And it's a lot of work. I personally know how hard this is. So are you prepared for some hot door knocking?
I love it, truthfully. I wasn't sure. I had been, after I came off the Board of Selectmen, I spent some time to focus on my family. My daughters were finishing up high school. It was after COVID. That was a rough time. My mother was aging and not doing well. I really needed to focus my attention at home. And so I used that time to pay attention to them and to get a master's degree in public administration while I was doing
impressive.
That.
Just something on the side there. Why not?
Yep. And then I went back to work for a nonprofit that works with municipalities and under-resourced communities to develop parks and open space, because everybody needs parks and open space in their life, right? It brings a little joy and a lot of health. So lots of good things come from that. So, but I have to say, so I was a little apprehensive. I wasn't sure I've loved re-engaging with the community.
Mhm.
I've gotten a really, really warm welcome from people.
Good.
We have a very, very special community here in Fairfield
Mhm.
County, where people are engaged and they want to participate. And so, yes, I'm ready to go, and I'm really enjoying it.
It's wonderful. Now, you have run for a few things over time
I
as a
have.
candidate. So, what are those experiences, or what are they telling you? What is the path forward for you here?
So, meeting the voters,
Mhm.
meeting the voters, talking to the voters, whether
Mhm.
it be on doors, on the phone, at
Mhm.
events. I want to meet as many people as I can.
Mhm.
I am a people person. I'm not an extrovert, okay, but I am a people person. I like talking to people. I like hearing
Mhm. Mhm.
what's on their minds. I want to know what their experiences are and what they want from
Mhm.
their elected representatives. That makes it better for me too.
So, just early on, and I know you literally just got endorsed last night. Do you have a feel for what people are telling you? Are they already starting to approach you and say, "Jill, this is what's important to us"?
Yeah, and I think that's what informed my ABCs.
Mhm.
So gas prices, right? We've definitely seen a roller coaster in cost of living, particularly over the last year and
Mhm.
certainly in the last several months. So people want to get their costs under control. They want to be able to stay in the communities where they've raised their children, right? They want to have some semblance of support, and they want their children to be able to move back here and find good jobs where they can then locate and enjoy the great life that we have here in Connecticut.
It is an incredibly important point, but also very hard to afford. Even I have young adult children who look around and go, "Oh my goodness, what it would cost to buy a place here." It's something else. So hopefully, when elected, you will be helping along this process of affordability. It's really important.
Yes.
Um, some other top priorities. You mentioned vaccines to me. What are you thinking about?
Yeah. So, this past legislative session, there was a bill passed that
Mhm.
relies on science, right, for the determination of vaccine
That
policy.
seems like a fairly good idea.
So, from my
Shocker.
perspective, right, I think you might know my father was a doctor. He was
Mm.
an OBGYN who spent his
Hmm.
entire career in the Bronx providing essential health care to women who needed it and sometimes couldn't
Mm.
afford to pay for it. And we were brought up on the values of health,
Mhm.
science, and care for community.
Mm.
And so I believe in that. I believe in following the science. Um, and caring for your community. And part of caring for your community, when I think about it, in college, I took a political philosophy
Mhm.
class, and we had the conversation about a social contract theory, right? So you make a contract with your community, your neighbors, to be a good neighbor, and
Mhm.
that's how I inform my day to day life. And
Mhm.
part of that is protecting others by being vaccinated if you're able to be. Now, of course,
Yes.
it's not a universal. There are certainly people have specific considerations that may impact their ability to take certain vaccines, but as a whole, we should follow the science and we should protect our neighbors. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. I was actually just reading the FDA has suppressed at least two studies right now that shows the efficacy of COVID and shingles vaccines, and how important those vaccines are to the overall health of the community. Just anybody out there who is considering a shingles vaccine, it actually showing an incredible, I think 20% less people get dementia.
oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
there's a
The
additional benefits from some of these vaccines. So science is very important. I love that social contract, caring for your neighbor. You're also interested in reproductive health. You just mentioned your
Yes.
dad's an OBG was an OBGYN. For both of us personally, of course, it matters. But talk to me about how you would approach legislation, or how what that means to you on a political level.
So on a personal level and a
Mhm.
political level, I believe people have the right to health care. They have the right to reproductive health care. And this is a decision that should be made by an individual and not the government. Truthfully, the government should facilitate people's access to health care because
Mhm.
that's a public good and that's being a good neighbor, a good citizen, and a good American. And we should allow our men and women of reproductive age to make the decisions about their own health care. And so that informs everything, right? So, and without being able to make your own decision about healthcare, your entire life can be dictated by, um, you know, by something that's could be out of your control, let's just say.
Right.
And so I want to make sure every person has the right to fulfill their life to the best of their own ability, and to make those choices themselves.
Um, this is so incredibly important right now, especially because we were the vanguard in the United States right after Doe fell, or Roe versus Wade fell in Dobbs,
Yeah,
through the Dobbs decision. Excuse me. We became the first state that we protect providers, but also people coming from out of state who are making choices, bodily autonomy, people deciding what they want to do with their own bodies. And we just had legislation, I think, that protects even further. I believe, I'm not sure, there are at least efforts to make sure that you can't track people coming to the state. There's much to be done. So I'm really glad you're.
absolutely, 100%. I've been a strong
Okay.
supporter of Planned Parenthood, truthfully, for many, many years. Probably started when I was young, because of my father's work,
Mm-hmm.
and as well. But they provide essential health care services as well, not just reproductive,
They do.
but to people who can't afford it. And it's super important. I'm
Incredibly
pleased
important.
to be part of a state that will support that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that support has been universally recognized by some of our elected officials on the other side of the aisle. And I
Right.
think that's super important for people to realize as well.
So I'm just going to say this out loud. Susan Byshewitz was just discussing about a 10 million sort of support for Planned Parenthood here in the state of Connecticut. They're based in New Haven, but have offices all around. Planned Parenthood does help with reproductive health, but also it's everything. It's mammograms. It's just keeping us healthy,
Right.
and we need to fund and support that. I don't care what political side of anything that you're on. We want to keep our people healthy.
100% agree. And it's for my children and your children,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's children, right? They should
Mm-hmm.
have access to healthcare.
Yeah, and there's many other states that have really cut it. Plus the federal government, I think, has taken a chainsaw to Planned Parenthood, I
Yes.
believe.
Yes. Left the states to fill in the gap.
Yeah.
So, among a lot of things, the federal government has withdrawn support and left the states to fill in the gaps.
Well, you mentioned something a little earlier on when you were talking about the Constitution, which is how much more important state legislatures are at this moment, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
how are we going to be protecting ourselves in this? Because this is an onslaught from the federal government of all the cuts, et cetera.
Right. So, when I think about my career, which has been in public service, government related work, nonprofit related work, I'm a lawyer by training. So there are a couple things. So there are two threads that run through just about everything I do. The
Mm.
first has been care for other people, care for my family, for your family, for making sure that our neighbors are protected. And the other is having a government that works for the people,
Mm.
right? And so as a lawyer, you swear an oath. When I was admitted to the bar, I swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, and I took that oath seriously. I took it seriously then. I take it seriously now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be reflected in how I act as a state senator, if elected, as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen our state have to respond to the federal government over the past year, where they've cut back on funding, as I think you spoke about with the lieutenant governor, where we've had to step forward to make sure our residents have access to food and SNAP benefits, to make sure there's access to healthcare. So caring for our people, because the federal government has stepped back from that role. And then stepping forward when we need to make sure our residents feel safe and comfortable here. And that's been in voting right, in protecting people's rights, voting rights, their ability to go to church and to school and to get healthcare into the courthouses without having ICE interfere with them if it's not a public safety related item. It's really we need. So that's when I talk about responding to our Constitution, our constitutional rights. It's making sure our residents are cared for and feel safe.
Love it. And very, very important. I love those two through lines: caring for others and having, having the government work for the people. So I love that. So Jill, we talked a little bit, sort of thinking about, is this district ready to go blue? We did have Alex Kasser briefly. I think
Yes.
she broke 130-year record of Republicans. Um, I got within 89 votes of Ryan Fazio in 2022. So do you think we're ready? We're at that tipping point? What do you think?
So this is what I think. I think generally people want the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Safe communities, good
Mm-hmm.
schools where they know their neighbors, have
Mm-hmm.
access to quality environment, recreation, jobs, a good quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to make sure their tax dollars are being put to good use. So I actually think, as you've seen in even your own race, that our neighbors are ready to have somebody who's going to represent their views, who's going to work with people from both sides of the aisles, bring back more money and services to our district, and make sure the government is working for them. So, what we've had here when we've had the Republican representation, Connecticut, for whatever, for what it is, has been a largely Democratic state. And the Republicans have had to vote with their party most of the time, right? If not all of the time, actually. And Democrats, yeah, pretty much all the time. Democrats have a little bit more flexibility in that to be independent and to vote for the district to represent them. So I think people in this district are open to having a representative who's going to work for them, who's going to represent their views, who's going to be able to talk to the Democratic majority about our needs. And so, yes, I think they're willing to vote blue.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So here's a question. We have a third in this overall district. Anyway, we have a third Republican, a third independent, and a third Democrat. What would you say to the independents of sort of what we call the persuadables? What's your opening line? How do you talk to that?
So I'd say I think I'm reflective of the voters in the district. I am fiscally conservative and socially more liberal. And I think that's where most of our voters are, whether they identify with a particular party or the unaffiliated voters. Of course, there are people on each ends of the spectrum, let's just say, that maybe lean more towards one side or the other. But I think I'm pretty much right smack in the middle. And my record has shown that, actually. I was the first Democratic elected chair of the BET. I was voted in unanimously by the BET, which is split 6-6, Democrats, Republicans. I have always worked with people. I mean, I actually don't usually know what party. Most of my life, you have no idea what party people are. You just work with people on the issues and on the issues that matter to the community. And I think people respect that. I'm about the person, the policy, and not about the party. I'm an independent Democrat. I just want to get things done. I want to get things done for the district. And I don't care who I have to work with in order to do that.
That's awesome. And I do believe that resonates. I am pretty sure everybody is sick to death of all this screaming, yelling, and we just want our government to work for us, be efficient, and show up when needed. And other than that, I
think everyone's a little tired of the partisan noise, actually, as well.
Yes, absolutely. So any other initiatives do you think you could even say, here are monies that I really want to see coming back to our district? I mean, I think for me, I live right on the water here. I understand that we have some strong needs to keep our coastal waters clean, but also for storm hardening around here. Are you going to be able to identify and go back up to Hartford? How are you going to work with our
So I'm going to, my goal would be as I talk to people in the district, to learn what their needs are. And then it will be scouring the regulations and availability and see where there are funds available and where there are grants available. And I think our delegation under Steve Mesker's, Hector Arzeno's leadership now, and when Rachel Khanna was in office as well, they were able to identify funds and bring more back for our district. And that's critically important. And for Stamford, they have a number of school projects underway now. They're getting more funding as a result. Steve and Hector were able to identify more funds for the old Greenwich school project as well. So those in different areas. So, and I think working on my government experience, I'm a lawyer by training. I'm used to dealing with legislation. I'm used to dealing with regulations. I'm actually now, as of my last job, used to dealing with grants and other government funding requirements. And so working with all of that to see how we can do the best for our district.
I like it. It's really important. And again, I'm not sure a lot of people out there realize that Glenville, if you're driving through Glenville today, you're going to see a lot of construction happening, building sidewalks, et cetera. That was Rachel Kana who identified those funds and brought them to our town. It's
yeah, so I'm proactive like that. She's a good role model, actually, as well. And I would expect her to, if I'm elected, to poke at me and say, "What are you doing? And have you looked here?" Everyone should, right? That will be my job to, as I said, scour the resources and see where we can influence the conversation and bring more services and money back to our district.
So, any thoughts on public-private partnerships? I'm a big proponent of us getting our Dorothy Hamill rink up and rebuilt, put it that way, the flip, so to speak. Are you going to be thinking through those kinds of initiatives, or how do you feel about that?
So I think I think public-private partnerships, the definition has gone through an evolution over the years. If you're a strict lawyer, maybe the definition is a little bit different than the way we think about it in town, which is a partnership with a nonprofit to provide some service of some sort, whether it be recreational or human services, in a way to support what the government is doing. And then to get community backing, or whether it's through philanthropy or volunteer services. So I think all of that is critically important. We're so fortunate to have a civically engaged and philanthropically minded community here. And for us in this district in particular, that's very important. And I commend everybody. Not all districts throughout the state have that flexibility and that ability. So I think we do need to be mindful of that as well.
We are very privileged and lucky to be here, and we do have some members of our community that are very generous, and we appreciate that so much. So you have all the things that it takes, right?
I think so. I hope the voters think so as well.
Lawyer, I mean, you've had years of working with the town in different capacities between the BET, Board of Selectmen, and RTM, correct?
That's correct. And now what I've been doing over the last couple of months since I thought about running is getting to know Stamford and New Canaan a little bit better, right? Because they're a big part of our district as well, and getting to know the legislators there and the people there. And I've really enjoyed that as well. It's another dimension.
Yeah, it's really so exciting and fun. And I really enjoyed my run. It was sad to lose, but I absolutely just adored meeting so many people. I love knocking on doors. But as you say, our Democratic friends in Stamford and New Canaan are fabulous and hardworking. In fact, we have one sitting right here named Lisa Hannick, who has been very much part of the Democratic Party and a lot of initiatives across the state. Actually, we had to do a shout out. But yeah, this is so it's a bit grueling.
Right? Oh, I don't think so.
You don't think
I don't think so. But ask me again in a couple of months how I'm doing. Yeah, as I said, I really enjoy meeting people and talking to people. I've always liked door knocking. I think it's a great way to get to know your community. And I find most people are really happy to talk.
Absolutely. One piece of advice, get a really comfortable pair of sneakers.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes,
I think I went through like 2 Hokas along the way. But so now is your team all together? Are you feeling really confident? And by the way, I've noticed your social media, some very good videos.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I'm about to roll out a new, I have to film them, but my younger set of advisors are giving me some pointers that hopefully you'll start to notice as I do a little bit more of, haven't really been a social media person before, but I'm working on it. As I like to say, all of us can learn and try new things as part of our day-to-day life. And that's what I'm doing. So role modeling that.
Very cool. And this is something about when you run for office, you have to get out of your comfort zone.
That's right.
You got to be incredibly brave.
That's right.
So
and thick-skinned.
Thick-skinned as well.
Yes.
But also not in the from the perspective of, as you're saying, when you get to doors and you're really listening to people, you are absorbing all of that important information.
And this is what I say. I think, especially for those of us who have big families and know, that everybody is dealing with something. You don't know what it is, and there are challenges that people face: economic, health related, age related, youth related. lack of opportunity, disappointment. There are all sorts of things going on in people's lives. And sometimes we just have to remember to connect with our neighbors in a
Connect.
kind way, right?
I love that social contract. So we have like 1 minute left. What would you like to say for anybody listening? This is Jill Oberlander, now the endorsed Democratic candidate for State Senate District 36. Just last comment.
I have a website up, jilloberlander.com, where you can reach out to me and join my campaign if you're interested in supporting, but also share your views and connect with the campaign to share your views. And of course, I want to encourage everyone to vote. If you're a Democrat, I'm going to encourage you to vote in the primary. I think August 11th was the date. There will be some early voting, and Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, please vote on Election Day. Please vote for me. But I'll share your views and follow the campaign.
Good job. Thank you, Jill, for being on the show. This is Trevor Crow. The show is Trevor and Friends. Thank you for listening. Everybody have a great day and stay cool and hydrated.